Raymond James, a analyst or a stock analyst in general, wrote an article on Seeking Alpha, or put out an analysis that Palantir is a cultural unicorn. He sees them doubling to $20 from here. And he sees that they have a $120 billion total addressable market. That does not include China or any of these other things. So he says the TAM is pretty big. There's one thing unique that he said. The company nearly doubled its revenue from 2018 to 20, crossing the $1 billion sales mark. And we believe the company will nearly double it again and flirt with the $2 billion revenue mark in 2022. Even though it was formed in 2003, in 2018, 3 events occurred simultaneously that led to explosive growth. A favorable ruling by courts on government acquisitions, Foundry moved beyond being a bespoke product, and the company built a direct sales force. This comes after the Bank of America sales analyst, I think like 3 weeks ago, said Palantir should be initiated as a buy. How do you feel about some mainstream coverage coming on the stock to move it more towards the upside, and in general, a little bit of the tide shifting towards positivity towards Palantir? Let's go with Chris. We can go first.
Yeah, I mean, all the bullish reasons that they listed, I think, I think we're in a good position where we are in Palantir to capitalize on further gains. I think for me, I'm going to be looking for a lot more business talk next week to see what their future plans are in terms of growth. The numbers I think will come up strong. What I've been seeing is a lot of contracts. You guys know we're on the Twitter chat, and we constantly are seeing re-upping of contracts with increases, modifications. The whole war in Europe thing is probably lending well to their expansion in that area. So I don't think the revenue is going to be a big issue. I think they're definitely going to perform well on the revenue front, which should see the stock, go up a good amount on earnings, if especially if they beat pretty significantly. But I think what for me right now is like I want to see some business updates. I want to see them create a freemium tier so that more people can adopt it. I want to see them, have a more vibrant developer community. I want to see them take the steps necessary for them to be an exponential grower and not just a company that's going to hobble itself in the future. The other thing is I also want to see if there's going to be any slowdown in terms of their revenue growth, right? If they have been adamant on saying this 30% growth target, they got pretty close to not meeting that last quarter. So if they fall below that, what is going to be the justification behind it? Like what are they going to say if it does happen? I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, what are they going to say? So like I said, I'll be very curious to listen in on this earnings and see where they go with it. But the one thing like I said to you guys, I don't really care about the stock price. I'm DCAing. I think this is one of those companies that 5 years from now, we're going to be looking and saying, wow, you bought Palantir at $10? That's crazy. And the reason why is probably going to be like they're generating $5 billion in free cash flow, and they're using cash flow to buy stock again, and then just like any other big tech story. Right now, that cash flow number, you guys see it, is constantly growing, right? So so don't look at the stock price too much these days. Just DCA.
Sachin, your thoughts on this new article?
So see, at this particular point, saying that Palantir is going to be 13 or 10 or 20, I think it's pretty much everyone's opinion. Okay, I mean, which opinion we go for? I mean, I was even disappointed to say that nobody even has courage to put a price target which is more than $20. So that was my reaction to it. See, so one of the thing again, when I invest in companies, I always try to look into their LinkedIn, and I try to see like who has joined recently, what kind of positions that are coming. So if you see there are a lot of positions that are coming in engineering, but very few in business development and sales, it tells you like, okay, they're cooking something. When you see that the more positions are coming in BD and sales along with engineering, that say you are about to launch something. So at this particular point, I mean, if you go to Palantir has nearly 120 positions in BD, sales, and communications. I mean, like 150, or they even want to recruit more people They want to recruit more recruiters. So that's an expansion phase, which is telling that they are not able to reach the market they see as of today. That means there is more money on the table than they are actually able to reach at this particular point. and putting a cap to that is 2 billion or 3 billion. I think it's a marker that Palantir has built for themselves. The challenge they have is, and we discussed about this thing in past, at the time of their S1 filing, they discussed about 119 billion of TAM, and everybody quotes it. But what they also said, that's 119 billion of TAM of companies that are spending more than $5 million annually. Now, since 2020, government and different companies have actually committed to spend more. So that 119 billion actually has a spent. Then they came up with the products which were like IBM Cloud Pak, AWS, Google. And Google is not selling a $5 million product of Palantir. So that is whatever Google, AWS, and IBM has, that is on top of that. Then what we talk about Foundry for Builders and their SPAC investment, these companies are not paying $5 million ticket also because they are a part of a strategic investment part. So that is an additional TAM on top of it. Okay. Palantir has also not discussed about the TAM that particular time coming from CI/CD market. Okay, so the whole idea that that the TAM is $120 billion is quite an understatement. If you take any digital technology, be it digital twin, be it AI, be it IoT, be it SD, everything is growing in double-digit CAGR. Okay, when you put these things together, you are looking for a TAM that is going to be 500, 700, 800 billion dollar. Okay, in by the time we reach 2030. So this idea, like how much of the TAM they are actually going to capture, and my view is like if that kind of TAM, even if they capture like a 2.5%, we are still talking of like a $20 billion in revenue. So what is stopping them? They are themselves are stopping them. They need to actually go and put more effort to actually start. I mean, we discussed, and Chris has also shared, and Dom knows because he is in the sales in industry. A lot of people still don't know about Palantir, and that is a challenge. A lot of people in developer community want to touch their product, they cannot touch it. So these are two of the biggest bottlenecks they need to address. People don't know you, why they will buy you. People don't know you, why they will develop their products on you. So that is something where we need to see more effort. So they are growing. I mean, their revenue is growing definitely. I would expect this quarter to somewhere close to $500 million. If that happens, that's a good point. In terms of multiples and revenues, I mean, they are at a heavy discount compared to their peers. So for them, if you believe that a company can go 2 or 3x from here, yeah, I mean, on average in this industry, then yeah, Palantir should go 3x to 4x from here, just to, because at this point, this peer discount will disappear at some particular point. And to me, that's the opportunity in Palantir at the moment. Back to you guys.
Dom, any thoughts you have on this new article or anything unique to say about it?
Yeah. I'm just looking at all these other new. I mean, I swear, like last 2 weeks, there's just been like constant articles, people writing either hold. There's more bullish from the community overall on long-term hold and what the company's doing. I think there's very few companies that are making noise in the industry every single day with new renewal contracts. And to Sachin's point, these are large contracts. You talk about what Project Titan could be from the Army contract. You look at Micron adopting the Athenia project with Merck, and you look at what they're doing with Trimfigure and some others. So I think there's a lot of revenue that we're yet to see in the expand stage. And when I was talking with one of the account execs at Palantir, because I've been actively trying to, get them to possibly be a provider for our company, they can modularize Foundry for a more affordable cost to get in the door with customers. Where it gets expensive and where it grows is really creating the digital ontology to where it now is this living, breathing AI platform that I can get everything I need, right? You can combine CRMs and can combine data lakes and get information a lot easier and pay not that much from them. So I just think that, to Sachin and Chris's point, their biggest challenge right now is brand awareness in the market for IT developers. A freemium market would really help that out. And then making a big, even doing road shows, right? Like, let's just be at RSA, be at Gartner, be at all of the things that everyone else expects to see. AWS Reinforce is happening in Boston next week. They should be there, but they don't have a booth there. And they're a big partner of AWS's. So I think they're getting there, but keep in mind, they're also very high revenue per employee, and they have a small staff of 3,000 plus people. I almost am just starting to feel like they're just making sure that they're hitting their 30% growth and they're not taking on too much than what they can handle at the moment. And I know shareholders don't want to hear that. They want this thing to fly high quick, but I almost think they're taking it a very methodical approach to knowing when they can fully open this whole thing up. Or at least that's what I'm hoping.
Sachin, you mentioned you wanted to talk about Data Robot when it came to Palantir. You can go ahead and discuss that.
So I think few people know about the company Data Robot in general. Data Robot is a private company, and I say, like, if you wanna take quite a peer group of companies that compete with Palantir, especially in the data space part. For example, we talk about Snowflake, we talk about Databricks and Data Robot. So Data Robot has been quite a competent company. There are a lot of things they do are pretty good. They're what they call like their AI cloud. Okay, is one of its kind. Okay, now what is going on in Data Robot at this particular point is that recently their CEO Dan Wright has resigned, and the idea came like because a lot of insiders were actually selling their shares. Now, company is private. Okay, that means when a company is private, you cannot sell your shares easily, especially if you're an investor, and you actually learn quite late that people from insiders who are selling it. Now, company at this particular point is valued at 6.3 billion. Okay, now how does it impact in terms of Palantir? See, when you have a company that is a peer competitor and that runs into this kind of negative sentiments and corporate governance, it actually affect their customer relationship at some point of time. Like if a Dan goes, that means the relationship Dan has with a lot of CEOs and a lot of other companies, it also get hampered also by the time. So what happens in this time is that company has to kind of reset themselves. So at this point, Data Robot has to clear their own mess, which creates opportunity for Palantir to capture some of the market, especially in the AI data cloud. And let's see how they do it. And again, it's a challenge. Like a lot of companies claim that what they to be, but to keep that doing day in, day out is difficult. And to be honest, Data Robot is a quality company. It's not just another startup. I mean, I really like them, and I hope they come out of this mess soon.
So Sachin, are you claiming the CEO is stepping down because there's a lot of internal issues in the company?
See, when something like this happen, when people attack CEOs internally, okay, there are things which are not clear in the public. So definitely there are some internal issues. These internal issues could be the corporate politics, how the corporate governance is running, or how the company is structured at time. It should not reflect on their product. Their product is good, but it does reflect on the morale of people. And one of the things we were discussing about, like all in kind of culture, okay, it suddenly raises question on that part. Okay, see, we discuss about this company, like 6.3 billion in a data AI space is nothing. Okay, it's nothing, no valuation if you have one of the leading product. I mean, Databricks is nearly like 40 billion. Okay, Harness, which is starting a CICD, is already 3.7 billion. We are expecting these companies to become like 50 billion, 100 billion at some point of time. So when you make a large sale, it reflects two things. That probably you are looking, I mean, maybe you are in need of money. You could, that could be one thing, but if several people does it, the challenge is that you may not be looking to stay long with the company, or you really think there is going to be a cap soon. So that's where the dissent comes from. It's a good company, and anything happens with this company and product, it's an opportunity for Palantir. So let's see how they do it now.
Got it.
Back to you.
I want to talk a little bit about the TAM, this $120 billion TAM. I think, Sachin, when you mentioned that the TAM is relatively understated, given the places Palantir operates in, which is not just big data, AI, and like machine learning, but like all the verticals that are associated with that, whether it's blockchain technology, healthcare, energy, supply chain, logistics. I mean, there's just so many different places. That's why I invested. I saw them as this like ETF for all these different places if they just capture little parts of that market. If that's the case, and the TAM, let's say, is 400 billion, your argument is essentially the premium that a tech company gets for capturing even a couple percentage points of that TAM is just so monumental because it's a tech company and not just like a value stock, that $10 is almost, it would be undervaluing it at that point, right? Which is why there's not a difference between 10, 13, or 20 by 2030.
See, again, like I said, the TAM is an assessment, and how do you do it is everybody's their own preference. The question you start is sometimes you start in a very, very abstract way. So ask yourself, what will it take Palantir to actually get a revenue of $50 billion per year? Okay, the first thing is the $50 billion revenue can only come if companies and government is actually spending that kind of money. So what are the evidence that you are looking that kind of expenditure is actually increasing? We have seen what happened in the government arena. I think there is enough evidence that kind of expenditure is increasing. If you read the filings of most of the companies, most of the projections, like even Google and Microsoft, everybody is saying how this market is going to go expand with different parts. There are things we don't talk about Palantir because they are not sexy. Like, for example, RPA, the robotic process automation. If you try to do it in Palantir, it's pretty cool. It's pretty simple. Okay, you'll be surprised that RPA itself is such a large business, but we like to talk about cool things. Okay, digital twin is something everybody talks about it. Everybody says it's new. How many digital twin you have actually seen in your real life? Okay, because the challenge for digital twin at this particular point is that in order to make something living, you need to put a lot of data and analysis and models together, and very few people have actually going to do it. Okay, so when you are looking for a digital twin, very complex scenario, a lot of digital twins I see, they are very limited in what they do. Okay, a lot of people have their own this BIM, they call the digital twin. So I see a lot of evidence. Okay, and I have done a lot of analysis recently for different projects also, like that how these markets are going to expand. So it is going to expand a lot. How many AI tools are you using at this particular point? Okay, why don't you use an AI assistant? So the expenditure is increasing, and this is why I say that they have a better product if they get their go-to-market strategy right. And to be fair, I really like their go-to-market strategy head, Alok. I had the pleasure of meeting him once and having a brief chat with him. They are improving on that part. So is their TAM expanding? Yes, their TAM is expanding, and it's expanding faster than anyone else at this point because they are present in a lot of categories, and then they have products which nobody else offers as well. So yeah, I'm quite certain that they will capture a big portion of it.